Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And well, the Rugby World Cup Sevens is certainly heating up as Samoa have just blown USA away 40 points to 12. What a match from Samoa. The USA are out. We've now got New Zealand versus Scotland already running onto the park. Here's a quick turnaround time here in the Rugby World Cup Sevens. And in case you missed some of the action, we are into the round of 16 for the men's section of the tournament, and a very brutal format where if you lose one match, you are out of the cup section. You cannot win the World Cup if with a loss. You know, basically one loss and you're out. So it's pretty brutal, and but at the same time, I think it's made for some very interesting. It's high stakes rugby at the end of the day, and high stakes means that all of a sudden one very big performance or very impressive performance suddenly paves the way for what could be a very successful campaign. I mean, technically, once you get to the round of 16, you would need to win 4 matches to win the World Cup. So it sounds easy in theory. You know, you win 4 matches, you win a World Cup. But, you know, if you're not on there once, if you have that one bad game, well, you're out. And we do have kickoff between New Zealand and Scotland. New Zealand will be playing left to right. They've got the kickoff as well, so they're going deep. That's a well taken there from Scotland. We saw Ireland beating England and now USA going into the quarterfinals. The question is who will succeed here. And what we've seen quite interestingly is that some of the teams who played early this morning have actually looked a lot sharper than the teams who are not playing their first game. Like for example, New Zealand, first game of the day, but New Zealand are already away, and they've got their first. So potentially worried about being slow for the start. Well, no need to worry about that because New Zealand has started like a house on fire. Right, well, there we go. Perfect start for New Zealand, and it's Amakani Nicole who's over. The conversion from Rocklassoa, not good. Right, another restart here coming from New Zealand, and the ball does go out there. Right, so it's a bit of a break and play before we resume with the scrum. It will be New Zealand's ball. And once again, New Zealand finding them a bit of space down the left-hand side. Coming inside now, working their way towards the right. The kick ahead. And Sam Dixon is chasing hard. The co-captain. Pick up and go, ball over the top. He shows the outside, and he is over. McGarvey Black, second try scorer at New Zealand. Well, we talked about the fact that you couldn't afford to be off your game. Well, a side that's certainly not looked off their game so far. New Zealand, 2 quick tries. They are one of the favourites on New Zealand. They've won this tournament before. They know what it takes. And this has been the perfect start there. Conversion going wide. So two failed conversions so far. Martinez saying brutal entertaining. Honeysell, are you bet on Fiji and New Zealand to win the main World Cup and New Zealand Australia to win the Women's World Cup? I'm all in the Blitz box. I'm back in the buggers. Back in the buggers. Home World Cup. Gotta get the job done. Good restart there from Scotland. Scotland with ball in hand for the first time really during the game. And almost a line break there coming from Lee Jones. Scotland need to find something a bit special here. They go down to the wide. Comes back on the angle there. The big cameraman, Jamie Fardale, the Scottish captain. And some more being called, so they've done well to hold him up. And it will be turnover ball, so good stuff there for New Zealand to win turnover ball. They will have a scrum. Scotland coming off to the wide. Oh, but it's turnover ball. The whistle's got no advantage, so there was an advantage being played by the referee just as well. Could have been a bit of trouble there for Scotland. But there was a knock-on that they were playing advantage with. Big scrum came from New Zealand. But Kalim Barreto has done very well to come away with the ball, but he's given it straight back to New Zealand. And as the try scorer for the first match, Nicole, it's going to go all the way. Will he go all the way? He will go over all the way. And New Zealand in red hot form. 15 points to nil after there's still 1.5 minutes remaining in the first half. This has been very much one-way traffic, feeding off the errors from Scotland. Restart from New Zealand once again. The restart been very good. A bit of a messy restart, but Scotland do retain it through Fondale. Under a lot of pressure at the breakdown there, and New Zealand have turned things over. I mean, it's just been one-way traffic. I mean, Scotland have yet to compete, really. 30 seconds to go. New Zealand score here, 17 points to nil. Becomes 22 points to nil. And all of a sudden, you've got to think that New Zealand will have one foot in the quarterfinal. Jamie Final, almost an interception there. Malia, co-captain with Dixon, captaining this match today. Now show and go, straight through the middle, It's too easy. It's far too easy. Rocco Lucio is over once again, and this is looking a little bit like boys against men. New Zealand have been electric in this first half. They'll go into half time with what will probably be a 25 points, 23 points to nil lead. Yeah, Scotland just haven't looked at the races so far. Yeah, I think New Zealand are about to waltz their way into the final. Right, half-time score down in Cape Town. New Zealand 24, Scotland 0. Nightmare start for Scotland. And New Zealand, well, I think it's pretty much job done. I reckon now you pretty much empty the bench, give everybody else an opportunity to stretch their legs. But it looks like they're going to be going into the quarterfinals tomorrow without too much of making too much of a sweat, really. Scotland at this stage just haven't really competed. Far too easy. And he says, crazy to think South Africa's never won the World Cup in sevens. I'm doing very well, Liam. Thanks to yourself. So this might be South Africa's only chance to do it. Did you see the Sharks beat the Stormers 21-12 in the URC warm-up? I did see that. Hope to try and catch up a bit on the highlights later. I saw it was being streamed. by Gray, but obviously been focused on the 7, so haven't really had a chance to watch any other rugby so far today. We'll be live after this as well for Argentina's game, and then we can take a bit of a break, and we'll return a bit later. We've got a couple of games lined up for you today. Well, Scotland, I mean, if Scotland does score 2 quick tries, their tournament is over from a cup perspective. They really have looked a different class though so far. Have New Zealand. Scotland with the kickoff is important that they try and retain it, but they do well. Ball comes down a bit loose, but it is eventually picked up, and New Zealand back on the charge once again. They're shifting the ball towards the right, still deep inside their own half. Watchalong, really got a brace so far. Carrying it up. New Zealand just looking so composed. Quick defense up there for Scotland though, and the ball's gone very far forward. So it will be turnover ball. A bit of a strange pass. It's almost looking like an attempted basketball pass. A little ball over the top, but very much forward from Leo. So we will have a early Scotland scrum. Four visitors to 22 from New Zealand and 4 tries. It doesn't get much more political than that, does it? Bit of break and play with a couple of injuries. Right, so an opportunity here for Scotland with the scrum. First things first, got to keep possession, and then you got to try and really capitalize. You got to go try and score early. If you don't score early, then Scotland's time at the World Cup, well, in the cup section anyway, will very much be over. Looking promising though, a bit more promising off the back. That's a big hit there. Good hands as well. Trying to get on the outside. He's gotten away from the one. He's got the pace. He is over. He is over. Scotland do respond. Lee Jones is the try scorer over in the corner. So Scotland are yet alive. I think they are going to have a check with this, but I don't think it should be okay. They are going to go upstairs. Looked right to me, though, so I think that Scotland will have their first of the day. No, no issues there whatsoever. Definitely gets grounded, so this will be awarded, and Scotland will get themselves on the board. Who knows? There might be a bit of a late Scottish charge. First real bit of ball possession we've actually seen from Scotland. They're very much using it to their advantage. So a nice start from Scotland. They need that though, because they've been very much outclassed in that first half. But New Zealand doing well to regather the kick-off. Bit of a fumble there, but no knock-on. Now New Zealand right back inside their own half. Scotland defence coming up quickly to try and force an error. They do find their way at the ball out to Sam Dixon. Sam Dixon's got on the bicycle. Got a couple of Scottish players reeling him, but he put his ball inside. Oh, that's a brilliant little step from... Oh, my living. That is absolute class. Michaela Rugby. He's looked a different breed so far. And that step inside there, it's inside, outside. Where you go. New Zealand hit back. New Zealand pretty much done, and that's enough. That'll be quarterfinals for New Zealand. It's a great run from Sam Dixon. Ball over the top is picked up. And Rugby. Oh, I mean, goodness me. He made that look far, far too easy. Bang, inside, and getting in. Jesus. And Rugby converts his own try, so 31 points to 5. New Zealand are 4 minutes away from a quarterfinal in the Rugby World Cup Sevens on day one. We're sort of round into the last few hours, last few matches ahead. We will have Argentina take on Kenya. We'll be live for that game. Then we'll take a break as Australia take on Uruguay. We'll then be back at 6 o'clock for the evening session. Fiji taking on Wales. South Africa taking on Chile. New Zealand women's up against Colombia at 5:30 as well. We'll also be live for France women versus South Africa women at 6:30. So that is the lineup for the evening. As I said, we'll be continuously be live on Freo Sports. On Freo Rugby and on Freo Sports channel, we will be doing individual watch-alongs. We've got press conferences going up on Freo Rugby throughout the day. We've had a bunch of them going up during today, so go and check those out. Another big scrum there from New Zealand. I must admit, this is an early marker being thrown down. We had Samoa, who absolutely decimated USA. Now you've got New Zealand, who are making Scotland look very average. So a couple of big performances early on. We've already seen England being knocked out. And Scotland have found a bit of space. As Jones again, the try scorer, but he's so isolated that this will be a penalty for New Zealand. And kind of sort of sums up the day. Every single time they've had an opportunity, New Zealand done very well to sort of snuff out the danger. That's a massive kick from New Zealand, but it's not going to go out. Oh, that's a really nice line being run there. That's really good work there from the replacement against Fimisula Foreign. Now Scotland trying to find a bit of space. Kind gets brought down on that side, and a lot of New Zealanders pining into that breakdown. Good offload. Now back. They've got a bit of space here to do Scotland. Long pass out. And New Zealand doing very well to keep Scotland inside their own half. Scotland just desperately trying to find a moment. Loose ball there, but it is retained, and it is a knock-on actually after all that. So, yeah, you got to think that's pretty much Scotland's game over. Right, New Zealand looking to finish with a bang. They've got the numbers. They're on their hands. Ball comes a bit loose. Lost to do. And Scotland do keep them short. Now long pass out. Scotland defense coming up very quick. Oh, but there it is. Just the slip. They had to get to the tackle first time. They didn't, and the replacement, Lewis Orman, gets on in the action. New Zealand go over once again, 36 points to 5. The conversion to come, which should be successful, 38 points to 5. It's been a very, very dominant performance from New Zealand. And dare I say it, probably looking like the early favourite so far. It was desperate defence from Scotland. They had to get there at the right moment, but unfortunately getting there a little bit too late. The inside step just gets them away. Time for a kick-off, but it will be the last play of the day. So New Zealand will go marching into the quarterfinals without having broken too much of a sweat there, really. Pretty straightforward from one of the tournament favourites. Previous winners, of course, of the World Cup. They will very much be looking going all the way this weekend. Bit of a strange, and New Zealand are still playing. They don't need to. They've got the game in the bag, but they are still playing. They are looking for a couple of individual stats, and they will finish with a bit of a flurry off the bench. And Caleb Tangitua will finish the game. And there it is, game done for New Zealand. Right, well, we'll be live in a few minutes for Argentina taking on Kenya, but New Zealand, what a performance from them. They absolutely dominated Scotland. They are into the quarterfinals. Scotland, it's back to the drawing board. It's out of the Rugby World Cup section, and they'll have to try again next time.